What is good, YouTube? We are back with another video. As you can probably guess from the title, this is the top 5 mods you would put on an Abarth with an IHI Turbo. So behind me, I've got Reece, and Reece's fucking sick little car as well. And obviously my one in the background, but this one would have started at 135, 136 if you want to be picky. Brake horsepower, it's now running at nearly 180. And we're going to talk through the monstrous amount of modifications he's done on his car. Let's get straight into it. What's good, Reece? Welcome to the channel.
Oh my god.
You've been nervous for this all morning, I can tell.
Absolutely. I've got the coffee jitters.
You've got the coffee jitters, awesome. Right, talk me through what has happened to this car. What have you got on this car? Let's start from the front.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I guess straight away, you've got the Bilstein coilovers on all 4 corners. I mean, I don't know if you can get underneath them, but lovely in blue, especially when you get up on the ramp. Like, you can see definitely straight away, like, it's got the Bilstein coilovers. I guess the actual exterior of the car is pretty stock, like nothing has changed to it. It's still got the what they call it, like pedal wheels, although the middle caps have now been knocked off from the car wash this morning. Thanks for those guys. I guess if you're looking at the exterior, like I say, nothing's really changed. You've got some pretty standard stickers. I guess any car needs to have nowadays. Greta's not a fan of this, considering it's decatted all the way through, straight piped. You've got your Ragazon exhaust down here.
So let's go back to this at the moment. So we've got Bilstein coilovers across the whole of the car.
Indeed.
So how much do you know how much this has dropped by?
The
or?
lowest it could possibly go. So much so that the front wheel arches actually scrape every time I do a full lock.
Happy days.
So even though the car's got a tiny turn circle anyway, it doesn't make it any better. So
okay, cool. That's cool to know. So like you just said, so you got a decat from the front?
Yes, decat all the way through.
Okay, so then what exhaust have you got on the back of this thing?
The exhaust is a Ragazon exhaust all the way throughout, stainless steel. I'm not sure on the sizing of the pipe. I think it's 2.75 inch out. But I mean, as you'll probably see from the videos, like, it makes an incredible sound. I mean, these cars make an incredible sound anyway. So
it sounds like this. Cool, so that's the exhaust and that's the decat. We've got some coilovers on it as well. How is this car 180 brake horsepower when it was stock 136?
So I brought the car about 3 years ago, had about 3 years now. The gentleman I brought it from actually had a map on it already. It was a very generic map. It was literally someone plugged a computer into it. I don't know who it was even done by, but it was just your standard stage 1 map. I've actually taken it elsewhere since then, and I've had it custom made to the car, because I think, as a lot of people probably know, if you just get a stage 1 generic map like that, it's not always suited to the car. I know AR Autos, for example, shout out.
Shout out on the channel.
Shout out on the channel. But I mean, obviously those guys are fantastic. I've just got this car back, and it's not to waffle on too much. The car had loads of ongoing issues, so shout out to Ben and Sarah from the Havant AR Autos guys. They've done a wicked job on it. They've got it fixed, got it back to how it should be. There's a few issues with sort of the check engine light coming on. There was no real reason what was going on with it. I think the actuator was stuck. I think the blow-off valve was stuck, and it was just chaotic. But they've done a wicked job. Fantastic guys. Obviously got it back now. But yeah. So overall, we're running about 180, and if we pop the hood now, I'll show you what's under here. Oh, that is hot. It's warm at least. Just warming my hands up because it is cold. What have I done? So I guess on top of the map, just to do with the ECU, the only main difference within the actual engine bay is the forged induction. Fitted this probably about a couple of years ago. Picked it up from somebody on Facebook on the cheap, so it's not brand new. Do need to get an intake hose. Unfortunately, I did buy the wrong one, which Nick has now picked up off me, luckily. Thanks to Forge for that. It's not their fault, it's mine really. I didn't look at the listing and brought the Garrett one, and then when I was fitting it onto it, didn't realise why the actual intake hose was double the size of mine. It wasn't until then I checked my order and I realised I brought the wrong one, so I had to send that back to him. So we've got the normal one, got the forged induction. We've capped off the recirc valve onto here, so they don't have anything like that, so you get the nice whooshing noise when you're driving. I guess other than that, it's pretty stock. I think eventually get a new turbo, probably go for a TD04 or a hybrid of some sorts, get some sort of turbo blanket on there, get rid of all the heat shield because it just looks trash. And yeah, eventually, I mean, big things to come, we'll see.
One thing I will say about this car is, driving behind it, I can notice the difference between an IHI and a Garrett. He puts the power down and it's gone. It's so quick, it spools really quick. The Garrett takes a little bit of time before it catches up. It's an incredible car to drive around with, and it feels really fun, especially when you're doing that whole convoy thing. 2 cars with ridiculous exhausts. I'm going to ask you now though, Reece, Give me your 5 top mods that are on this car. So let's start with number 1 and why you would tell people with because I'm pretty certain this is generation 3, isn't it? Mine's a Gen 4. Everybody's going to go mad on the comments if I'm wrong there. Pretty certain it's a Gen 3. So tell me, for a Gen 3 Abarth like yours, what are the top 5 mods? Let's go for number 1.
I mean, straight away now?
Let's go for it.
Yeah. Number 1 has got to be the forge induction, the cold air induction. I mean, when you're driving it, and a lot of people have probably got one, it sounds like a spaceship internal. It's like when you're in the car and you're putting your foot down and you just get that massive gush of cold air, it literally sounds like a spaceship when you're driving off. But also it just feeds the cold air straight into the engine, and it just gives it so much, not so much more power, but it gives it a little bit extra push as well. Second, it's got to be the Bilstein coilovers. I think as the car sits, generally it's a nice looking car. I think when you come out of corners, if you just have that little bit lower on the car, it just gives it a little bit extra shove into the corner so you can come out a bit quicker. This next mod is probably going to be the exhaust. I mean, these cars have got fantastic exhausts anyway, but I think the Ragazon and the straight pipe exhaust just gives it that real extra oomph. I mean, you always hear the car coming before you see it, and when people actually see what the car is, they end up wondering what on earth it's doing or what's going on with it. I mean, it's such a small car considering it's only a 1.4 turbo. It sounds better than most cars on the road at the moment. I mean, I had an Audi S3 previously, which was about 300 horsepower, and this sounds 10 times better than that.
I've got to say, when we were doing the Starbucks run and when we've driven up and down the roads today to get some filming, people turn their heads thinking there's going to be a supercar, and then there's these 2 super mini kind of things rolling around the streets, and they sound amazing. And what I love about this, and I love about your exhaust, is it's loud, but it's not stupid loud, and it's got a really good tone and crack to it. And although me and you, we've got, you know, like mine's not decap, but it's straight through all the way to the back, similar to yours, but they sound different. So
absolutely, even
though they're the same internal engine,
different tones,
but they sound really good. Absolutely. So not all cars are the same, not 2 cars are the same, which is what I love about these. Is that 2, or have we done 3? We've done an induction kit so far. Bilstein.
We've done the Bilstein coilover.
Just on the exhaust. Give me a 4th. Let's go.
I'm not going to lie. It's a mod that I haven't actually done. And the next mod that I'm planning on doing to the car is deleting the Reece seats completely, because if I'm completely honest, I don't drive anyone about, and it's pointless even having the seats in the back. So
is that for like a weight saving thing, or?
I mean, from a weight saving point perspective, but also because I get a bit more boot space at the same time as well, and it just looks nice.
Sick. Okay. Give me last one.
Last one.
What would you do to a Gen 3 Abarth?
What would I do to a Gen 3 Abarth? Get a bigger turbo. I think of any car, you just need to get a bigger turbo. Don't get me wrong, I love the IHI Turbo, and like Nick was saying earlier, I mean the turbo spools up super quick, especially when you're coming out of corners. It has that real sharp biteness to it as soon as you come out of it. But I think with these cars, if you really want to get some big power out of them, you just need to get the turbo done straight away.
Amazing, man, amazing. Those are the top 5 mods to a Gen 3 Abarth. One thing that I've noticed that we haven't talked about is it's got different discs on it as well. Do you want to talk about your brake discs?
I mean, we can do, but they are eBay specials. I mean, it took me all weekend to fit them, because I mean, people that know these cars, especially the model that I've got here, is the back hub assembly. When you actually take them apart to take the discs off, it has Allen key bolts rather than hex bolts, and for some reason when they design these cars they put Allen key bolts on it, and you can't get an Allen key in there to take them off. So I was there on my driveway probably winter last year doing all 4 corners, and I had to take the whole hub assemblies off the back axles just to take the discs off and replace them myself. But yeah, I mean, you've got drilled and you've got groove discs on it, they look fantastic, but I think next plan is to get some decent pads on them as well, probably some EBC green stuff, just to give you a bit more stopping power, because obviously when you get more higher power you need obviously better discs and pads, and you need better what they call bloody calipers, Brembo calipers. But other than that, for what it is at the moment, they do the job.
I've got to say, it does stop well, but disclaimer, don't do anything to your own car, take it to a garage, because although Reece might have done it, we are not advising that on this channel. We are not advising you go do your own work to your car, because we don't want to see people fuck it up. One thing I will say though is, obviously you can bring it down to AR Autos and we can do absolutely absolutely everything for you, and at a really good price, but with dealer level service. Thanks so much, Reece, for coming down and bringing your beautiful Abarth as well for a good day. Although on paper mine should be quicker, it is definitely down to the driver, because this guy is crazy.
It's very cold. It's very cold.
It's fucking freezing. It's -4 right now. It's a beautiful British December. Oh, come on. It's beautiful blue skies. It's been brilliant. What a day to drive the cars around, you know? It's been amazing. Anyway, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Go follow us on all our social media. We've got everything all over Instagram. All the tags are below in the comments. All the tags are below in the description, should I say. I can't even sign it off. There's someone else here, so I can't do it, but plenty more content to come.